Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to take a look at all of my Dior Quints and rank them from the ones I grabbed for the least all the way to my favorite ones and the Quints that I think about the most often. It's so funny because Dior releases makeup pretty often, and on the day of filming they actually just launched on their website Birds of a Feather collection, which is part of their fall 2021 collection. And in that collection are 2 Quints, 3 nail varnishes, 3 different colors, and then also 2 blushes. I picked up both of the Quints and 2 of the blushes, so I will be reviewing those. They won't make it into today's video, but I thought, I don't think we can ever catch up because they constantly have something new every season, and even in between the seasons there's always a new color story to look forward to. So the idea of this video came to me when I was about to film a dedicated video for Romantic Voyage. It is what I have on my eyes today, and I usually do a dedicated video for every single Dior Quint, except this time, except for Romantic Voyage. I thought I wanted to change up the format a little bit since we've been doing this for quite some time. I think 11 times. I have 11 Quints here. So I just wanted to change it up and do something a little bit different. And also, it's amazing to see so many of these palettes like right here. I think they're all beautiful, they're all gorgeous, but I do have some of my favorites, so I wanted to share that with you guys. And I did also include in this video a really quick tutorial of how I put this look together. So if you are a purple eyeshadow fan, I think you will enjoy that portion of the video. Well, let me start with the one Quint that I grabbed for the least, and I don't think this one's going to be a surprise for those of you who are in the know or have been following Dior releases. This is going to be Pink Glow. Pink Glow looks gorgeous. These 2 shades here, when it was released, it immediately grabbed my attention. The reason why I do not grab for it is this shade. This shade here is so this is what it looks like, and it does not swatch very well. So the 2 pink and red shades, those are your normal, typical pigments and quality of pigments from Dior. This is what we're used to. And then you have this kind of satiny matte shade that is creamy, and it swatches okay, but I really had to put pressure into it. It is a totally different texture from any of the Quints they've released so far that I know of, and I think it really threw people off. We were expecting, I mean, sure, with the reformulated Quints that they launched last year, all of their shadows are creamy, they're typically really easy to blend, but this one is just a standout in that it is different from all the others. You can still, well, I still made this work, and I think a lot of other people have said the same thing if they have this Quint. They've made it work, and you can also combine so you basically just transformed this shade into something a little bit deeper, and it's actually quite pretty with this transformation. And I'm just doing this very loosely, very casually, so it might not look that blended in, but you could really go in with a brush and just blend it a little bit more. You can also use your finger because the warmth from your hand, I think, is going to also meld the 2 shades together. But because you're taking a powdery shade into this creamy shade, it actually becomes easier to work with. Despite of that, I actually don't grab for this palette because I think whenever I sit down to do my makeup, there's also an element of like, okay, let's do the makeup quickly in a timely manner so we can move on to the next thing. And because I have to like think about, or I think I have to think about this, that's why I don't grab for it. So this is at the bottom. This is ranked number 11. At number 10 is from their Golden Nights collection, holiday of last year, and this is Golden Snow. Yes, Golden Snow. I actually really like Golden Snow, especially this shade here. and I don't have too many shadows that are of this color. Well, at the time when I got this, I really didn't have many, but now I have a couple more palettes, and I want to say perhaps even, what was it, Chanel's liquid eyeshadow that they just released. I feel like that shade might be similar to this. The reason why it's number 10, which is quite low on the list, is this came detached. And because of that, I don't grab for it, because the more you take it out, the more often it might kind of like fall out of the pan. The riskier it is. Like, I think every time that happens, the next time might be when it just completely, you know, shatters or just breaks apart. So that is why this is number 10. The quality of the shadows, I think the color story, I love it. I think it's so beautiful, and the snowflake embossing is so on theme for the holiday. It's just gorgeous to even look at. But it's ranked number 10 because it came defective. At number 9 is a non-limited edition quint. This is part of their kind of all season, you know, they'll continue making this for as long as I guess people will buy them or buy it. This is Denim. Denim is my first Dior quint since the reformulation, and it was launched last year, late summer, I think in August. I immediately gravitated towards this because I do like blue eyeshadows, and I still don't have a lot of blue shadows in my collection, so this is very representative of, you know, blue, aquamarine. It's interesting that they added kind of like a green shade here. By the way, these all have a shelf life of 6 months, and this one I've had for almost a year now, but it felt fine on my finger, and I think a lot of people do ask that question. So if it's 6 months, is it going to be like expired, non-usable, will it a hard pan? But it's looking pretty good to me. I recommend, if you do have any of the palettes or anything that is past the shelf life, I recommend testing on the back of your hand, see if all is well after a couple of minutes. The reason why this is, and they're beautiful shadows, I love these shades, but the reason why it's number 9, oh, I messed up already. Pink Glow, number 11, number 10, Golden Snow, and number 9 is Denim, because these two shades, if you use them together, there's a good chance they'll just blend into each other and become one shade. And it's not going to be very noticeable you use both. So that's my main gripe with this color story. Individually, the shadows are all so pretty. So, so pretty. But you can see how even this shade here could just blend into these two very easily. And the last thing is this center shade. Because of these blue greens, there is like a little bit of kick up, and it'll fall into the center. So your middle shade, while it's like a cool beigey golden shade, you're gonna get other pigments on it and it'll never be clean. So that kind of bothers me, because if I put this onto my brown bone, I don't want any blue or green pigment on it. It just can't be helped because of the position. I mean, it looks great, great presentation. The function of it, you know, so-so. So that's why I put it at number 9. At number 8 is from their summer Dune collection. This is Mirage, and in the collection there's also another palette, Dune, which I have. It'll come up later on this list. But you know, I don't really have any complaints about this quint. I think it's beautiful. The shades are a little bit more subdued than how it looks. But what I do really like about this palette is you can use the shade like a blush. You can also add this as well. And you can even use, I can use the shade also as like a bit of a bronzer as well. So this works for my skin tone, that there is some more versatility within the eyeshadow palette, that I don't just have to use it on my eyes. But I just don't grab for this. When I look at this, it's really pretty. Like these ridges, the embossing here is supposed to mimic sand, as like maybe, you know, wind has blown on it and it kind of settles into this pattern. It's very windswept sand, and the effect, the finish you get on your lids or on your face does look like glistening sand. So the collection itself, I think, is beautiful, but I just don't grab for this, so I've placed it at number 8 for that reason. Number 7 is Golden Day, and there was a big kerfuffle when Golden Day came out. Basically, it was, the way it was listed on the website was mixed up with Romantic Voyage. Long story. If you want to hear about it, I do have a dedicated video of Golden Day when I first got it, along with Romantic Voyage. I do swatches and comparisons, so I'll have the links to the Dior for each one of these below in the description if you're interested. So I think this is it's a pretty color story. I mean, all of these shadows are pretty. And I think why, sorry about the mess here, it's always an awkward angle with the thumb. The reason why this is at number 7 is I do like this matte black. I don't have a matte black from Dior, so to have this is great because I can also use it as a liner or to deepen any shade I would like. I do like this brown here as well. It's a cooler brown, and you can do a lot with it. What I think has a disconnect for me is the center shade here. It's really pretty. Really, really pretty, and you can use it to add some, you know, additional interest to your look, but I feel like the palette is more about these shades here and perhaps this one. I don't know what else you can put into the center, but I feel like is centered around the look you can create with these 3 shades. And this one here too, you know, brighten things. This, you could say it'll give you a little bit more added interest into your look, but it's not gonna, I don't think the shade here is gonna carry your look or make it really stand out, like make this color story stand out from what already exists. This, I believe, is limited edition, and it's quite similar to, I want to say, Grand Ball, with the exception of maybe these 2 shades here. So if you use these 3 shades, I think you can dupe Grand Ball. I don't have Grand Ball, but I feel like looking at it, and when I tested these out, I really felt like they're quite similar. So I don't think it's a standout, but I do like it. That's why it's kind of like in the middle of the pack. At number 6 is Dune, also from the Dune Summer Collection. So Dune is my preferred out of Mirage. I believe initially when I first got these 2 quints, I preferred Mirage a little bit more, but when I look at Dune, I feel like this is, you know, the namesake collection is called Dune. This is the Dune palette. It really has all the essence of what this collection about, which is like shimmering sands. And while they may look like they're really intense from the pan, they're not. They're actually quite light. The finish, it does mimic that of like shimmering, glistening sands, and so I think this fits the collection to a T, which is why I've ranked it higher. And number 5 is Romantic Voyage. Again, it is what I have on my eyes today. Romantic Voyage, I'm just a sucker for purple mauve eyeshadows, and this is what you get from this color story. It's very easy to use because, you know, I did not spend too much time blending things out. In fact, I removed eyeshadow that I had before because I was filming a different video, and I just kind of put this on, and I think everything still looked really blended. So I think the shade here is the standout from the palette. And then the other shades just really complement that center shade really well. And with Dior, on their boxes, they'll give you suggestions or recommendations. If you want a intense, deeper look, they recommend for you to use the bottom 3 shades or the center shade plus the bottom shades. And if you want something that's lighter, to use the top 2 shades along with the center shade. I usually don't follow that. I just kind of go in and do whatever I feel like doing. So, you know, in that case, it does work. It does work just fine. When I first saw this upon release, it didn't really grab my attention, but now that I've used it a couple of times, I feel like, you know, this is it's very easy to put together looks with. It's a nice, comfortable purple. If you wanted something deeper, you can adjust with these 2 shades here. If you want to stick with a lighter look, you can choose these 2 and then this one here to brighten things up. But you can also mix any of these 2 shades to brighten up any of these shades. So I like the ability to be able to do that, and you're not, just because you have this palette, it doesn't mean you're just committed to, you know, strong purple looks or smoky looks or deep looks. It's the one I went for. I went for smoky today, but you have the option to keep things very simple if you would like, and just, you know, have a dash purple in your look if you wanted to. And number 4 is copper. I love this color story. These 2 shades alone, so gorgeous. You can have a sultry, coppery look, or you can brighten that up. You can have a bright copper look because of this orange center shade here. And then they also added in this for like a red copper. You can have coppers that are more golden, more brown like this, or a red copper here. And they gave you both. Nice options. And then you have a very dependable deep matte brown. It has some red undertone here. I think it's just, I need to go back into this quint. I'm going to leave it on my vanity so I can use it tomorrow. So this really captured my attention from when it was released to when I got it. I liked it even more. So for that reason, I've ranked it pretty high on the list at number 4. And number 3 is also from the Golden Nights collection. This is Black Night. I love a cool tone, deep color story. This silver here and this kind of wine burgundy shade. Love a good silver. These other kind of blue, gray, black metallics, they can end up kind of melding, blending into each other to become one shade, like the Denim quints. So there's something to be said about their blues, like blue, deep blue, blue-green, even like grays and blacks. But as long as you kind of pick that you don't go into, you know, 2 or 3 of the deep shades at the same time, you just kind of use maybe 3 across this way or this way, you should be fine. Like even these 3 here, you should be fine. And I just love that look when you add a silver. So pretty. Not to mention, again, the embossing here is fantastic, and I love that about this collection and this quint, so that's why it's number 3. At number 2 is Pink Sakura, and I'm sorry, this is the one that is no longer available. This is a limited edition that actually sold out pretty quickly, and you get a very light purple pinky look with Pink Sakura. The name is interesting because it's not very pink, and I mean, even for Sakura, which is like cherry blossoms, this is not that. It's not pink. It's definitely much more purple, light purple, like lavender purple, lilac, wisteria. It's got a combination of all of that. So it's an interesting name. I think I'm not sure what the inspiration behind the name and the color story, but I like it all the same. I think it's beautiful. The look you get is just a light purple. Of course, you can deepen it with this. It's different from Romantic Voyage because you can get much deeper looks from Romantic Voyage, whereas this, it kind of inspires you to stay light and playful, just like spring blossoms, spring flowers. So I really do love this palette. I don't have anything quite like this in my collection. You know, these light purples, medium, yeah. So it truly is a little bit different from what I have. And at number 1 is Cruise Look. If this is the first time you're seeing this quint, you may think, why number 1? It is the one that I think about most often. I think Pink Sakura, Cruise Look, and Copper are the 3 that I think about most often. Maybe it just speaks to like the type of shadows and the shades that I like. This is, ignoring the middle shade, it's quite similar to Nude Dress. And it might even be, you know, the looks you create might be dupeable. But they added this center shade here. It transforms everything. It's a terracotta shade, and you get a very neutral look, but the moment you pop that in, it really just changes everything. It makes everything a little bit more interesting, and it takes it away from Nude Dress. Like, it's no longer that similar to Nude Dress. In fact, Nude Dress has like very neutral shades, all 5 of them. So this pop here, I think, just totally separates it from Nude Dress. And these are all in satin finish, so you do get a very light, a very beautiful, like a bridal look. These are bridal colors, except for the center shade. And I think it's just so pretty, it's so sophisticated and elegant, which is why I think about it often and I really like it. But it isn't too neutral because of the center shade, and so I think it has like a perfect blend of being elegant, neutral, simple, but also interesting at the same time. So that's why it's number 1. So that is all about my Dior quints. I will have another video on the new quints very soon here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll put in the quick demonstration of Romantic Voyage right at the end. See you guys very soon. Bye. I'm going to take this shade here, and I'm adding that all over the lids. Then I'm taking this shade here and I'm placing that onto the crease. I feel like these 2 shades alone, and by the way, I do have mascara and eyeliner on because I was filming another video, but I did take off any eyeshadow I have. So I think like this, if you like the mauve purple and the pink combination, like this could be your look. I think it's quite pretty. But we're going to add some more shades. We're going to add some more colors from the palette just to test everything out today. I'm taking this deep purple matte shade here and adding that to the outer corner. And go back in to blend that deep shade out a little bit to diffuse it. And then I'm going to, with finger, put that onto the center of the lid. And also onto the inner corners. And then going into the shade and placing that onto the bottom lash line. And then I'm actually going to go back into the same deep shade here. I'm adding that onto the upper lash line just a little bit here on both sides. And then I'm going to blend out. I felt a little bit washed out after I added such a deep shade on the lower lash line, so this is more what I had intended to do or what I had in mind. And I'm actually going to also buff out or diffuse the bottom a little bit more. I'm going for a smoky, diffuse look here, so no harsh lines.